all of you. Thank you so much for joining us for this extraordinary opportunity that TEDxNavesink has provided us. I can't imagine a better place and a better time to be talking about the next wave. Speaking of waves, I'm going to be talking about the ultimate wave maker, the ocean. All of us have some special connection. It's what brings us together in this region. We are so fortunate to have an extraordinary ocean resource right off our coast. It brings us such amazing joy. Whatever your connection, whether you like to take a walk on the beach looking for sea glass, those fabulous treasures, surf in the Curl, go diving. Very few people do, but it's an extraordinary experience. Seeing children splashing in the waves. We all have some very personal connection to the ocean. Some like to fish, bring home dinner, or to have the joy of releasing a fish that they've caught. This is the richest of bounties, the ocean. All life had stemmed from the ocean. And even if you think you don't have a direct connection to the ocean, because the ocean produces so much oxygen, every other breath you take is a gift from the sea. And the most extraordinary thing is that the ocean gives all these gifts to us free of charge, free. It's just nature's natural gift from the ocean. That's why the big idea, the next wave, is to create the clean ocean zone off the coast of New York and New Jersey. It would be the nation's first clean ocean zone where it would be permanently protected from harm, from any pollution, from any of the devastating effects that we've caused in the past. I want to tell you something really extraordinary about this little pocket of water that we call the New York and New Jersey Bight. From Cape May to Montauk out to the continental shelf break, this is a water body known as the New York Bight. It's not a dental procedure. It's the B-I-G-H-T Bight, and that is a bend in the coastal zone. So the bend in the coastal zone from New Jersey all the way out to Montauk is the New York, New Jersey Bight, and it's an extraordinary area, very special. If you were to drain all the water from the ocean, we wouldn't want to, but if we were to drain it, you'd see this incredible system of caverns and canyons, the Hudson Canyon, the most dominant, but all these areas. And this is a slide that shows the depth of the water, and you can see where it turns to black way offshore. That drops off over a mile deep. That's like the Grand Canyon. This is our Grand Canyon. This is our Grand Tetons, our Zion National Park. If you put the water back in, it gets even more interesting. You can see the red down at the bottom of the screen and see Florida and the Caribbean. The warm water comes up from the Gulf Stream. We all know about the Gulf Stream. And the colder waters from the north, the Labrador Current, come down. And you can see the little box of the New York Bight and see that those waters mingle together. So the cold waters of the north and the warm waters of the south bring both species, cold water species and warm water species, to our area. Few places on Earth have that kind of convergence. And in that convergence is a remarkable array of life, from the tiniest of creatures, some of which have a bioluminescence that can turn the ocean into a glowing globe, to the largest of creatures, some of our favorites, like the whales. In fact, yesterday there was a whale just off Seabright feeding on a huge boil of fish. It was incredible to watch. And as one of our favorites, there's also not so much our favorites. But they still have a role in the ocean, and an important one at that. There's the ancient mariners, the horseshoe crabs that have been here since before the dinosaurs, over 350 million years. There's the curious, the octopus, the seahorse. There are over 21 species of whales, dolphin, and porpoise that come into the waters of the New York Bight. There's over 5 species of sea turtles that come here. There's only 7 on the planet, and 5 of them come here, and all are endangered. There's over 300 species of fish, some that you know, some maybe that you don't know, and over 350 species of birds of all shapes and sizes. We have 4 species of seals that come down during the winter months from the north. And all of these creatures are superstars. In fact, according to the US government, New York and New Jersey, the New York-New Jersey Bight has the richest, highest density of marine mammals and sea turtles anywhere in the US. A pretty fabulous place. And even though we're downstream in the most densely populated urbanized area in America. And we haven't always been the best of stewards. We're kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. In fact, in the mid-'80s, we were the nation's ocean dumping capital of the world. We had 8 ocean dump sites where we were dumping sewage sludge, acid waste, industrial waste, burning wood offshore, and there was the oil, of course, on spills occasionally. When I grew up, we had tar on the beach, and I'd have to come home from the beach and have the mineral spirits at the back door and rub the feet to get the tar off our feet. I thought that was normal. And we turned our ocean into a devastated environmental ecosystem. We had dead and dying dolphins washing up on our beach, medical waste, raw sewage. And about that time, a man by the name of Derry Bennett hired me as an intern for the American Littoral Society, and we started a coalition to fight ocean pollution, which became Clean Ocean Action. And a broad-based group of people got together and said, enough's enough. We've got to stop this ocean dumping. And one man in particular was so impressed to me because he was a commercial fisherman, and this was our very first press conference in 1984, and he talked about how his kids he used to bring the nets home after a day in the ocean, and his kids would come out with wire brushes, and they'd spend the afternoon scrubbing the nets from the hair and fibers from some of the ocean dumping activities. And I said, well, how can you go public with this? And he said, I'm an endangered species. If I don't speak out now, there will be no fish, there will be no fishermen. So the courage of some of the people that worked in the coalition was just extraordinary. And so we started rallies, we started marches, we testified, we spoke out, we let it be known that we were not going to be the ocean dumping capital of the world anymore. And to that end, we wrote Valentines to those that were willing to defend our ocean. And we stood together, the small and the tall, to make sure our ocean became a sense of pride. And by 2000, our ocean was dump site free for the first time in 100 years. Truly an extraordinary story. And so since then, we've been able to enjoy the ocean. Our kids are back in, and it's become a multi-billion-dollar industry for the state of New Jersey. In fact, the state's entire economy depends on a clean ocean economy. But make no mistake, they're still lurking out there, those that would industrialize the ocean and pollute the ocean. And that's why we need to make sure that we continue to keep this ocean surviving so that we can enjoy all these rich, free benefits that the ocean provides. So the Clean Ocean Zone was a vision of the coalition, this broad-based coalition. Divers, boaters, fishermen came together and wrote a bill, wrote some legislation that would protect this watery world that we have off our coast. It could either be an act of Congress or an act of the president through an executive order. But the basic framework is to keep this ocean wild and industry-free. You know, this is one of the last remaining areas in the United States that is wild and free from harmful industry, and the Clean Ocean Zone would keep it that way. So what would the Clean Ocean Zone do? It would prohibit any new dump sites, of course. And believe me, they have been proposed in the past. Recently, in fact. It would clean up former dump sites. We do have toxic stains still offshore from previous ocean dumping, so we want to make sure that we clean those up. It would prevent any new sources of ocean pollution. It would protect the sand resources. All of us know that we are putting a whole bunch of sand on our beaches because of Superstorm Sandy. Those sand resources are not infinite. They're very finite, and there have been proposals to take them out of the ocean. We want to keep them in the ocean so that they can be used for beach replenishment and for habitat for marine life. We want to prohibit any oil and gas development. Some of you may know that offshore drilling is at our doorstep. Seismic exploration is being proposed, which would blast the eardrums of every living creature in the ocean, only to allow for oil and gas development. And also we have the liquefied natural gas facility proposed off our coast. But we want to take advantage of renewable energy opportunities. So the Clean Ocean Zone legislation or presidential order would allow for offshore wind and other renewables. And the whole concept is very unique in that it would allow for the continued robust development or harvesting of our rich bounty. It would celebrate commercial and recreational fishing. It would allow for the clean ocean economies to be sustained. It would allow for artificial reef development because that creates new fun habitat for for marine life. The most important thing is that it would keep our ocean safe from all of the harmful, polluting activities of the past and protect it from the future. So what I'm here to ask you today is that you all make this story your TEDx story, that you make the ocean a part of your story. Tell the story about what connects you to the ocean. Tell the story of what inspires you about the ocean. We're so close to achieving this goal. We're 85% there. The ocean is safe right for now. We've ended all the ocean dumping. We've got a huge coalition. What we need is the power of the people. You know, when we started back in 1984, there were so many that said, there's no way you're going to end ocean dumping. There's just too much power behind it. But the power of the people spoke out, and we won that victory. And now it's important for future generations and for our children that we lock in this incredible legacy. So again, I'm asking you to make this TEDx talk yours. It can be all yours. Talk about your relationship to the ocean. What makes it inspired? What inspires you about it? Talk about the history. Talk about the threats. And talk about, most importantly, that we need to lock in the success that we've achieved over time and lock out all the pollution. Go to cleanoceanaction.org to find out how you can participate. This is an incredible story, and we want to make sure that this legacy lasts for future generations. Thank you so very much for this opportunity.